there's a term in Australia called take the piss, right? Which is making fun of someone doing something. That used to happen all the time with me. What's he walking around the paddock for? What's he looking for? What's he doing?
Yeah.
Because they don't understand flow.
And you were boots on the ground, and you're walking the field, and you're talking to the project delivery team. By the way, I've changed that for everything. I always say project delivery team now.
Yeah.
What is the first sign that the team's not ready to start and that this is heading in the wrong direction?
I'm always looking for flow. Now, these guys, back on this project, they used to think I was mad. I'd walk the paddock. I did this for months on end too, right? This is you got to keep repeating things and you got to keep doing things until people internalize them and they accept them themselves. I used to walk the job 10 to a dozen times a day.
Okay.
The only thing I was looking for is where's it stopped? Where the crane's not moving, where's there groups of people stood up waiting for materials? Because when I knew where it was stopped, then I knew where the problems were. I could go and speak to them and say, hey guys, you don't go and accuse people, right? How's it going? What's happening? Go and talk to the people in the paddock doing the work. They'll tell you what the problem is. We all like to sit in the office and in meetings and stuff like that because it's air conditioned or, we're out of the elements. Get out there at the work front where they're actually doing the work and ask them what's going on. Get out to the work front where the work's actually going on and have a look and see what's happening. Don't sit in your office doing nonsense, and it is complete and utter nonsense. There's going to put a few noses out of joint today. Specifically a few that I know. Resource leveling, okay? I'm going to tell you, give you an exact example where it went wrong. Now, the problem with resource leveling is it tries to defy physics. Okay, you might say it works fine of our jobs. We've always averaged across the plan. Right. If you at a tight time frame, is the one I'm going to be speaking about today, which was a 6-week shut. You can't just level out your resources. One of the key things that it doesn't do, and one of the drivers behind it, is because we like pretty graphs. Look at that. We've done such a fantastic job of scheduling. The resource, the manning profile fits exactly to what we're doing. These beautiful little graphs. No bumps, no ups and downs. Projects and shutdowns do not run like that. Okay? And we are kidding ourselves. All we're doing by leveling, it masks your constraints, it masks your issues, and it masks the cost of context switching. I played this little video for you from Christian Burkosis that shows the cost of context switching. We talk a little bit about context switching, and then I'm going to take you across and show you where it failed on a job. So that's the difference, right? Let me try and stop that once the focus is done. Take it back. If we can get guys or crews, teams on jobs, start, finish, that's how much quicker they get it done when they're not trying to switch between tasks. Context switching, there's all sorts of statistics on it. I tend to believe that 98% of statistics are made up on the spot, just like I did there. The context switch is high. There's no consideration when we're doing leveling, resource leveling, where we're moving one resource to another job. How far on the job? Is he on the ground floor down here and he's at the top of the boiler on the next one? Does it take longer to switch him than it does to actually do the job? What else is that pushing out of sequence? By taking him, moving him around, trying to make our nice, pretty chart. All right, let's get straight into it. I'll give you a real live example. This is a shut that actually happened. This was the discussions that we had. I'm not going to say the names of the people or anyone else. They will know exactly who they are. And I'm not going to give companies away. I'm just going to tell you, this is what we did. And this is why resource leveling didn't work. All right, so we had a shutdown. We're done. We got a, let's give ourselves a timeline. So it was a 6 weeks duration. That was critical, 6 weeks. Okay. We had a window. At the start of it, we had to isolate the plant, and then de-isolate it at the end. That's has to happen. No work can start until this isolation process is done. That's 48 hours each end. Okay? Across the job, they worked out that taking the hours that they had of mechanical works for the duration of 6 weeks, we needed 50 fitters to do the actual job. So let's put that line in there. This is 50 fitters. Make our resource leveling look nice and neat. 50 fitters, okay? That's what we're hiring. Trouble is, Bendy's looked at it, right? And gone, what actually is going to happen is, for the first 48 hours, we need a spike. We need 80 fitters. Then we drop down and we probably need somewhere between 35 to 40 fitters. At the end of it, we got another spike. We need 80. 80. You want to get this plant isolated and de-isolated in that 48-hour window. You need 80 guys, 80 fitters. The next constraint is, behind that, is we don't have anywhere near enough high torques to be able to service our 50 fitters, much less the 80 that we need in these 2 peaks. Benny, we've done this before. That's the numbers. That's what you can do it with. I said, how? Show me how you've done it before. How have you done it? Because the sequence is set as well, right? The plant's got to ramp down in a certain way, and the isolations have got to happen at a certain time. How have you done it before? Show me how you've done it. No, we've done it before. This is just the answer that kept coming back from the client. So I actually knew some predecessors that had been on this particular shut. Went back to them and said, hey man, how the fuck did you manage to get that there with 50 fitters with the amount of work that you've got to get, not everywhere that you've got to get to on the plant? Said, you can't, Benny. Doesn't happen. I said, it takes closer to a week to get it done by the time you move everything around, which is about what I had planned. So we're going to the shop, run demand, we don't have enough fitters. We don't have enough high torques because our graph looks pretty but looks like beautiful. Take that to the board will sign that off. Got the manning worked out perfectly almost to the hour. Can't get any better than that. We get in where, the only thing that saved us in the front end was it poured down rain. So we've got 500 people all up on the shut, right? Waiting for these 80, 50 guys, or 450 of them, waiting for the 50 guys to get this works done so that they can start with their works. So every hour we're behind, we're falling behind very, very, very quickly. Unfortunately, but fortunately, it rained. It didn't just rain, it poured down. So we didn't have all those people on site for that whole time. 24 hours in, and we're about, I think it was somewhere between 15 to 20% complete with the isolations, which was, we're actually doing pretty well considering the amount of guys we had and how understaffed we were, undernumbered, and like high torques. And they're going, Benny, what's going on? You put all this time into the schedule, you were here, you planned it, you did it. I said, that's your schedule, not mine. What do you mean? I'd kept the original copy. I pulled it out, bang. That's what your resourcing looks like. That's the equipment that I told you that you needed. You guys flew in the face of that, went completely against it, and leveled it. This is your problem, not mine. I'm fixing it. We're moving through this stuff as quickly as we can. Unfortunately, at this point in time, I didn't understand theory of constraint. Had I understood theory of constraint, I could have explained it better like I just did then and went, you're literally trying to defy physics and it won't work. Maybe I could have sold it a lot better. Well, not maybe. I could have sold it a lot better had I had better knowledge of theory of constraint. And I understood lean principles at that point. I understood scheduling. I understood that leveling has never ever worked other than maybe under a few circumstances where you can stretch your times and move your tasks around. What you can do, what we should have done, and I didn't know Jason Schroeder at this point, and there's a great video that he's got on YouTube here, okay, which is leveling construction activities. Had we put it into a TAC plan, and we could have seen better instead of the Gantt, saw the flow, we could have tracked better where the machines had to go. We could have moved people better, had better start finish times, and been able to track our handoffs, eliminated more of this non-value added activity. We had a ton of that in there, non-value added activity, where time was wasted. We could have done much better than what we did. But we could never, ever, in a million years, have hit that, been able to isolate with the 50 people like our pretty graph showed us. As I've said, up on the board here. Leveling masks your constraints, it masks your issues, and it masks the cost of context switching. Had we been dealing in reality instead of fantasy, we had time to fix that or to do something with it. Pitch it a different way, stretch the times out, get extra people, more equipment. We had time to fix it when I identified it, when it showed up in the ugly graph. What we didn't do that. We decided to hide the problems and make the graph look pretty because it's easier to sell to the stakeholders. All right. Agree with me or don't agree with me? Good. Oh. I've put the wrong comment in there. I can go back and get my comment off my AI because he gave me War and Peace today. And made him cut it down. So the comment is today, or the question is, planning a shutdown this quarter. Are you modelling on your peak constraint, like we had there? Or are you going to average it? You can lose week one in the first couple of shifts if you're not honest with yourself and you don't identify the key issues that you've really got, where your real constraint is. As I say, I think we ended up around about a week. It took us to isolate in the end, 4 or 5 days, near enough to 6 days. Well, we were working 6 days a week. I think it took up the full 6 days. If it didn't, it went very close. All because we're trying to level it and make a pretty graph. Doesn't work. Okay, let's get into, I forgot to mention. Raise the bat, 100 days of ORCA today. Last 100 days, every day, I have done ORCA. 99 of those being live. The only one that wasn't was actually Christmas Day. All right, so let's get on with it. What we're going to do today is going to make a couple of process improvements to this ORCA Wingman. Okay, so I've run the ORCA Wingman now probably 4 or 5 days straight, and it is working exceptionally well. It's holding sequence. It's not going off on choose your own adventure. It's doing everything that I've asked you to do, that you've put into the prompt. There's a couple little tweaks that I want to make. One thing that it does is that when it writes the handover to the Mox Wingman, it always pushes it a day forward. So the handover that it does, so I'm doing day 100 today. So it should be doing a recap for day 100. But when it throws that over to the other wingman, it puts in its handover, it calls it day 101. So it always goes a day in front. So is there a way that we can stop it doing that? The other thing that I want to do, and this is an improvement to the process, is I want it to actually, when we do the actions, which is who's doing what and when are they doing it, There's a better way of asking that when question, not when are you going to get it done. The question is, when are you going to block out time in your calendar to work on this issue? Okay? Can you, I want it to hold everything that it's done this point, but I want that new prompt written out. Just give me an explanation of what you're going to do before you actually write the prompt. So to make sure that we're on exactly the same page, can you write that prompt so that it does that from today moving forward? That's what's called, what does Ed Dale call it? It calls that the vomit draft. So we get everything out that we want, then we make sure we ask the AI question. What do you understand out of what I'm saying to you here? Because I don't want it going off and doing something that I don't want. Yes, good. This is a refinement, not a rebuild. Here's exactly what I'm going to do. No prompt yet, just the design changes so we're aligned. When you run day 100, the mock's brief says day 101. Why is this happening? Somewhere in the logic, the model is inferring tomorrow, incrementing the streak mentality, or defaulting to the next day language. Because we never hardlock the day reference inside the handover section, fix, I will explicitly instruct the model to capture the day number at the beginning of the session. Store it as a fixed variable for that run. In the mock's handover section, require use the exact same day number, do not increment or infer tomorrow, do not modify day count. So it becomes deterministic. If it starts as day 100, the handover must say day 100. Perfect. No inference allowed. Approve when. Questions. Right now it asks, by when will this be completed? That invites vague deadlines, optimism bias, no calendar commitment. When are you blocking time in your calendar to work on this? That's stronger because it forces scheduling, creates friction, increases follow-through, it aligns with execution principles. Fixed actions, photo extraction phase, instead of by when will this be completed, it will ask when exactly are you blocking time in your calendar to work on this. Perfect. And it requires specific date, specific time block, not vague tomorrow. It will store owner action, calendar block, action, deadline. Preserve everything else, no structural reset. Yep, I want everything the same. Important clarification before I write it. When you block time in calendar, do you want it to enforce a specific calendar date time? Yes. I want A, the anti-fragile one. Block the day number, stop the drift from that point forward, mock's handover, place a deadline, calendar block, keep everything else identical. Just going to copy paste that, because when I say that, no doubt. Right, so he's going to give me a new prompt and we'll run that straight up in the ORCA Wingman for today. Beautiful. How much time do you spend? Do you write prompts? Yes or no? With your prompts, do you type or voice? Put that in the comments. Once you're done voice, you'll never go back to typing prompts. Not if you type like me anyway. ORCA phase 2. Post that there. Let's see how we go. One trigger. I'm going to copy paste this bit from now on, because every time I speak it, if I spell it, it's fine. If I don't, day 100. So let's put that in there. Perfect. $100. Pedantic little fucker. That's all right. Means it's anti-fragile. And a number. Oh my God. It's been really painful. This. We're going to fix that tomorrow. He's been too pedantic about that. He should be able to sort that out. It is Tuesday, the 3rd of February 2026. The time is 9:47 a.m. and we are in Beanie's office. Right, so these are my outstanding actions from yesterday. So one is yes. Two is yes. So that was my 4 actions I had yesterday, right? Run the live, use the wingman. ORCA wingman had to do the handover notes. I had to do a banger post, which is a recap, which we've put a tweak in here to fix that. And then I had to get down to a meeting in Brisbane. Yes. Yes. It's going to ask me what caused those results. Why are we hitting those so often? I'll open actions. What is the objective of this mission? One only. Today's objective was to run the session on why resource leveling doesn't work, the live session. Yes, that's correct. It just comes back to me. It summarises. Part of this prompt is I get it to summarise, then come back and say, is this right or is it not? So if someone said something in the meeting, if we're running a meeting, 6 or 8 people, and then they go, this was the objective, and I'll say that, and then it summarises back. Everyone good with that in their own? There's none of this, I didn't say that, because you did. Because it's here. Or if you didn't say that, you didn't argue with it. You need to learn to speak up. So the results were, had the meeting, that went well, waiting for feedback from that today, and we should get a decision on that this week. The live was completed. That's had good interaction. Handover notes, we tweaked those up today, and we've given your prompt a tweak so that you don't keep jumping a day ahead. So that issue should be fixed today as well. Waiting feedback, decision expected this week. Live session was completed with good engagement. Handover notes were refined. ORCA prompt adjusted to prevent day forward drift. Fix implemented today. Yes. See how much easier and better this is to run a meeting rather than trying to do this yourself. This actually drops the minutes out at the end. I'll show you. It gives a clear summary that we can drop into Teams. Everyone can have a look at. Don't email it out. Hate email. If you want to know why, that's because emails go to individuals. There's way too much use of email. What I would be doing with this would be dropping it into a team chat so that we've got a reference there of all the things that happen for the week. Anyone that wants to go and look at it can go and look at it. So instead of sending 100 emails out and annoying everyone with shit that whether they want it or not, we don't do that. If you want the recap always sits in Teams. It's always done at the end of the job. Again, we're going to automate this with Claude soon. Yes. The only reason this is not transcribing very well is because my audio is hooked up to my laptop. So normally I would have the audio hooked back to this, to my phone, if I was running this live inside on a site, and we wouldn't have these transcription problems like we do at the moment. I have very clear priorities on what needs to get done each day and what gets done first. Like a meeting, which I had, that's the priority. Nothing else gets done. That's the objective. That was the objective for yesterday. The objective gets completed first. and then the couple of drivers that sit behind it get completed as well. There's complete clarity on what needs to get done and what the definition of done looks like. Tighten cause. Clear daily priority order. The primary objective is executed first. See how it calls that primary? I don't do priorities. It's the primary objective that we need done. If it's not primary, it's secondary. Very clear for people. What needs to happen first, what needs to happen when. Non-essential work is deferred until the core objective is completed. Yep. Clear definition of done for each task. Yes. Supporting drivers are completed only after the primary objective is secured. Is that correct? Yes. Write the actions on your whiteboard. Right, let's go and have a look. Hey, dropped the pen. What we need to crank out today. Hit the right button, Beanie, and I'll follow you. So run live. Yep, that's another one. Third of the third. ORCA wingman notes. Yes, that needs to be done. Third of the third. Beanie, banger post. Recap of live. Yes, that needs to happen. Brisbane meeting. I'm going to go Brisbane meeting follow up. Cool. That needs to happen as well. Oh, we forgot to bring the camera with us. Get a photo of that. Bring you back here. Okay, so all you need to pay attention to is the 4 action items. Don't worry about anything else. Okay, all you need to pay attention to is the 4 action items. Don't worry about any of the other text on the board. Don't get yourself confused or go off on a choose your own adventure. Now, let's see how well our prompt worked. Run live. Who is responsible for this action? You've got that information. It's already written on the board. The only thing you're supposed to be confirming with me is what time it's supposed to be done. Why? Is this a problem with the prompt? Followed the literal instructions. Ask for owner rather than recon. Correction behavior now. When exactly are you blocking time in your calendar to complete this? What is first action? (9:30 a.m. on Thursday, the 2nd of February 2026. What I've done is taken this up another level now. So instead of going to people, when are you going to work, when are you going to have the task completed that you say you're going to get completed, which they normally tell you they're overly optimistic, don't give themselves enough time or whatever it is. We ask the question, when are you going to start on it? What time have you shown me in your calendar? Tell me in your calendar when you're going to block out time to work on this. Then the next day is, did you work on it during that time? Yes or no? Did you or did you not? What percentage complete is it? What's the next step if we haven't done anything? Oh, now he's getting tough. He's asking what time. 2nd of February 2026, 9:30 to 10:30. 2nd of February 2026, 10 to 10:30. Provide full block in this format. What are you on about? I gave you 10 to 10:30. How can that not be what you need? That is a start time and an end time. Start at 10, finish at 10:30. Need a little bit of tweaking here, obviously. Beanie Banger post recapped. 2nd of February 2026. That will be 10:30 to 11. Second of February 2026, that will be between 3 and 4 p.m. Now we're starting to tighten things up. Who's doing what? When are you going to work on it? This is how we remove constraints. So this one at the top here, if I copied that, that is, if I tap that there, that's the breakdown that would drop straight into Teams. Anyone that missed the meeting, didn't see the meeting, wants a recap of the meeting, straight into Teams, done. As I say, I'm going to get Claude to automate that so that would go across and drop that in there at the end of the meeting. This one down the bottom here is my handover brief, which is one of my tasks on the board. So I'll go back to my, where is he? BangerBot, straight A handover. This one writes all my copy. So we should come up with a decent recap post straight out of this. This is a Tuesday show proof recap, not schedule, not theory, not another lesson. Don't lose projects because of complexity. You lose them because you sequence wrong. There's no hydro sequence beats urgency. Today wasn't busy, it was sequence. Right, done. Take it, use it, make it a great week. We've got 2 practice sessions in today, 32 minutes, just over 32. Perfect. Right, take it, use it, make it a great week. Tomorrow, going to spark a question, run a poll, drop a bold take. That's going to get you talking. Guess what it's going to be around? Fast versus speed. Speak soon.
This is a big one, and I've asked a project executive that I respected a lot what the answer to this one is, but I'm going to ask you. When you think about the real objective of a project manager, going back to that loop, what is their actual mission so that we can bring it home for the listeners?
Okay, so the actual mission is, I'd go back to the book by Patrick Lencioni, 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, and a quote in there that says, if you could get all of the people in an organisation rowing in the same direction, you could dominate any industry, any market, under any conditions, at any time. If you could get everyone, the PM's job is to get everyone headed in the same direction. If he could do that, you'll build any project under any circumstances, ever gets thrown at you at any time. That's my opinion. In my opinion, that is his number 1 job.
I love that, and kudos to you for pronouncing his name right. I always get that wrong.
I take a lot of practice to get that right, especially for an Aussie.
Yeah,